Today we are talking with Kipkhi. We touch upon his London School of Barbering experience, how they have helped him out through the years in his career, as well as home haircuts and his future plans. All of that coming up in the very first episode of Barber Spotlight. Hey Kip, how's it going? Thank you for joining me.
Nice to finally see your face, Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. We've spoken so much over Instagram and stuff. It's nice to actually have a chat with you properly, you know? So we're here today. You're joining us for the very first ever Barber Spotlight, which I've been excited to give to people for a really long time. So I want to take a little look at your career, talk about how you've grown, maybe how others can take influence from yourself. So, you know, what can you tell me about how you started and how has it led to where you are now?
Well, to be honest, my barbering career, my actual journey started when I was really young. I had really long hair down to, I'd say, my bum. So it's when my dad actually got me and thought, you know what, we need to cut this off now. So he got a pair of super tapers, I remember corded super tapers, and he said, let's just do it. Shaved it all off. And from there, I didn't actually know, but I had an interest in barbering. And that took me on, I cut friends and family. But again, I didn't really know I had a passion for it at that time. It's only when I sat down and I was in my job as a border force officer, and I thought, no, there's more to this now. I need to actually do what I really, really have been put on this earth to do, and that is barbering. And that's why I signed up for London School of Barbering and invested in myself.
Mate, that's amazing. I'll tell you what, I actually had the same thing with my dad. He made me do the whole, cut your hair, it's too long,
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned the London School of Barbering. So is that where you trained yourself or?
Yeah, I mean, last year, a lot of people know that I went on the course, the London School. I've done a lot of research before I went on this course because I wanted to make sure not only was my money going in the right place, but I was going to get as much as I could out of it. Obviously, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not as young as I look. So time is not really on my side. So I wanted to get the place I was going to learn everything right. And I narrowed it down to London School of Barbering. I mean, it makes sense. It was in central London. Diverse clientele, and it's run like a barbershop. What more, could I ask for? So I thought, no, I have to do it.
That's awesome. So you said it's run like a barbershop. What does that mean exactly? Can you explain?
So you get clients as you would, they'll book in, they'll expect to be sat down at a certain time. As soon as them doors open, it changes from a learning environment where the teachers are there hands-on to that client's walked in, now it's your time, show us what you can do. So obviously you have that prep before the client comes in, and you're prepared for that, but once that client comes in, they have an expectation. And even though sometimes they're coming in and they're getting free haircuts, there's still that expectation. Because you're in central London, people are busy, people want haircuts, there's that time expectation and there's that level of cutting as well.
So if someone else was looking to go and learn barbering for themselves, if they were kind of just starting off and checking out this video, would you recommend London School of Barbering as one of the best places to go for that?
Without a doubt. And I'm not only saying that because I went on the course. I know it seems like that, but I can only go by my experience. And before I went on the course, I was doing fades, I was watching online tutorials, and it teaches you a lot online. You watch other barbers, but doing it is completely different. And what the tutorials online don't teach you is there are different hair textures and types, and certain tools work with this hair type. So when you have that client in front of you and you're cutting the hair and you think, why is this not going the way the video actually showed me? And you realize, actually, I need a bit more here. Also, my scissor work wasn't great. So that's one of the main reasons I actually signed up to the London School of Barbering. is because I wanted to be versatile in all areas, not just fading.
So I'm going to do a slight detour right now. So I actually saw, speaking of, learning yourself with videos and things like that, I did see you did a cut on yourself on your Instagram page. Was that what brought you to do that?
Well, that goes back to my dad giving me really bad haircuts. And now I don't know if it was the corded super taper or my dad to this day, but I'm sure it was my dad, because I never saw him watch any online, or well, back then they weren't online, but I didn't see him doing any kind of research before he cut my hair, put it that way. Yeah. So I think definitely it's my dad. But yeah, I mean, I was going to school at the time, and there's only so many bowl cuts you can have before you think, nah, I've got to change something here. So I just grabbed the clippers off him and thought, actually, let me have a go. And it was really difficult. And at first, my haircuts, I think I invented patterns, the zigzag.
Oh, mate.
That's how bad they were.
It's so 90s, I love it.
Yeah, but, at the end of the day, I recognised the fact that the haircuts were bad, but I saw an improvement every haircut I was doing on myself, and I think that helped me a lot. The hardest bit was actually holding the mirror and the clipper at the same time. That was the hardest bit.
I will say I did give it a go in lockdown, and it really is more difficult than you guys make it look. I'm not a barber, but man, it takes some talents to really do it. So
yeah, no, it's difficult.
So obviously you finished London School of Barbering, you started working, and now you're actually an ambassador for the London School of Barbering. So how did that happen? Tell me about that.
I still don't know to this day. No, seriously. I think it comes down to just building such a great relationship with the London School of Barbering when I was there studying. I was like a sponge, because I was so passionate about what I was learning. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to ask more questions. I mean, like one of the educators there, Noel, I've got a lot of time and respect for him. He took it upon himself to dig a bit deeper, and he recognized that I wanted a bit more, and I was willing to go that extra. So he gave me a bit more as well. So that really helped.
Oh, brilliant. So it's very like one-to-one, obviously coming from a learning standpoint and now a teaching standpoint, I guess you've done a few bits here and there with them as well. Like any advice you've given them over the years, or?
Not at the moment, but they at the end of the day, I think it's a good fit. It's a good fit. When they approached me about becoming an ambassador, I was a bit gobsmacked because I had only come out last year, but they told me that, look, since I'd left, I'd done really well, and they've actually kept track of all my work and everything, and that was a really big compliment. Because you think when you leave these places that it's like, okay, there you go, you paid your money, bye-bye, never see you again. But it wasn't like that. They actually cared about my progress. So that's why, and the brand itself, it really fits well with me and what I believe barbering should be. And they teach all aspects of barbering, not just fading and one bit. It's scissor work, it's graduation work, it's shape control, fading, beard work. It's everything you need. So yeah, the other part of kind of my success is working at GXD, like the London School of Barbering, where you get diverse clientele. At GXD, the reason why I started working there and chose that place is because you get everyone from all walks of life. Just when you think you've mastered one kind of hair type, another guy walks in with a big, massive mop, and you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to challenge this. And trust me, everyone goes through it. But when he sits down and you're cutting his hair, you realise, I need to change something here. I need to use either a different tool or a different technique. And I think this is where you have to be quite dynamic, especially when it comes to different hair types. Don't think one approach kind of will solve all your problems. Try different techniques, and never stop learning really. So yeah, we're not too far from London actually. We're west London, along the M4.
So do you think you'd ever reach a point where maybe you'd want to move on to like teaching yourself? Like, you know, would you want to have like take on clients and people that are looking to learn barbering, and you can be their instructor?
Without a doubt. I mean, that is, I think, the future for me. That's where I see myself, to be honest. I'm passionate about it, as I've said, and I want to basically feed other people. I want to show them, I want to teach them, and hopefully, you know, we can make some great barbers. But that's the future, but that is definitely a goal.
So, you know, now we're moving on from like, you know, what you've done and what you've built and things like that. You know, what does the career look like for Kip?
Well, hopefully very good, because my days, they start really early. I'm a type of guy where I can't sit down. I'll tell you truthfully, I can't sit down. And then at night time, I can't go to sleep. I'm constantly going. My mind's ticking. If I'm in bed and I think of something, I'll bolt up and I write in my notes just so I don't forget it. But yeah, it's definitely teaching. I would like to also get into shows, maybe cutting models. Wouldn't mind some high-profile clientele, i.e. the Arsenal football team.
I'll let them know.
Mikel Arteta, I think, needs some length taken around the year. No. On a serious note, I'm taking it day by day. I'm putting in the hard work. I'm learning still. I'm never going to stop that learning process. I just want to keep going and see where it does take me.
And so you're like really passionate about it, and it's nice to see. It really is. You know, there are so many people that I see kind of come and go, but you know, you really do have that drive and that passion. So speaking of that drive and passion, you know, I think you mentioned you mentioned when you talk about your own brand, right? You're like, are you in the process of building your own? I don't even know what it is. You mentioned it, but I'm not even. Tell me about what you're planning to build.
It's something that represents me. It's something that people see and automatically they think of Kipkhi. You know, they think of me. And one of them things is the King of Spades. Now, for me, poker is a big thing. I grew up playing poker with my friends, and you win some, you lose some at the end of the day. But the way I see it is, you also make mistakes. There's another element, and that's making mistakes, but learning from the mistakes. And that's why I chose that theme behind it, because I take risks. Some pay off, but some don't. And that's how it is. But you're only going to know if you roll that dice and actually find out. Otherwise, if you don't take chances, we're going to be in the same place.
Man, it's inspirational. I love it.
Yeah.
So if I was somebody looking to get into barbering myself, you know, what piece of advice would you give me as somebody looking to start my barbering career?
Definitely watch online tutorials. I mean, there's so much information, resources out there. It's unbelievable. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. The only thing I will say is, if you are watching online tutorials, make sure it's a recognized company. It's someone that knows what they're talking about, that's been there. Obviously, word of mouth helps with that, and you know, knowing them. But you've got to make sure where you're learning from is actually going to work in practice. So yeah, do your research. Pick the right institutes you want to learn in, i.e. London School of Barbering. And before you get to London School of Barbering, make sure you have some kind of basic, because they will teach you, but it's dynamic at the end of the day. It's how much you want to learn from it. Do you want to learn this much from it when you get there, or if you already have that much, do you want to actually say, actually, I've already learned that. Can you teach me a bit of this? And that's what I done. So that allowed me to actually open up other avenues and areas that maybe they wouldn't have touched upon But they recognise that actually he's capable, he can do it. We'll teach him that as well.
Mate, that's amazing. So when you say, look at YouTube channels, you're talking about the brand new Barber magazine Instagram. Right, so just to kind of finish off here, are there any general thoughts that you really want to share with people who might be watching at home?
Just if you're passionate about something, go for it. At the end of the day, life's too short, and it's too short to be doing something you don't really want to be doing. I'm also working as a border force officer at the moment. I've been a civil servant for the last 10 years, believe it or not. It's starting to show, as you can see in the grades here. But it's been good. But I feel like I have to take one hat off every day and put another hat on. And the hat I put on in barbering is definitely the hat I want to keep on. It's my passion. It shows my personality. Find something you're passionate about that can showcase your personality, and at the end of the day, don't chase the money. Chase what you want to do, because all of them other things will come after.
Amazing. Kip, is there anything that you'd like to plug or tell people where you can find you? Or
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. A lot of people know me. I mainly use Instagram at the moment, which is Kipkhi. I'm going to be venturing slowly into TikTok. Unknown territory for me, but I'm going to give it a go. That also, I have Kipkhi. And then if you want me on YouTube, obviously this video is going to be on YouTube as well, and hopefully you'll watch it. That's going to be Kipkhi as well.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Kip. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Yeah, that's all right, Connor. Thanks.